What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dreaming Tabitha, an artist here on YouTube, and today I'm going to show you how to do a basic stance for drawing chibis. Arms wide open, feet stretched out. No better way to get started with this project. Let's go. Of course, we're going to be needing pencil and paper, and we're also going to be needing an eraser because we're going to be making mistakes, but we're also going to need a stencil, or at least I do. I use this patch to make a perfect circle for the head every single time. So just figure out where exactly you want to place it on your paper, and I go towards the top because, of course, I need the rest of the body to be able to fit. So I just trace a perfect circle, and then what I do is I start off with the cheeks. Now, a lot of times I'll have them looking over to the side, but in this case, I'm having little baby Dracula, because that's who we're drawing today, looking forward. And so I want to be able to have both cheeks. So I kind of curve in just a little bit and then curve out, get those nice little apple cheekbones going on. And then I just come down to the chin. Now it's up to you how round or how pointed you want this chin to be. Totally customizable here. And you're going to be playing around with those different shapes. So don't press too hard with your pencil because you're going to be erasing a lot of different things. Nothing is permanent. Remember that nothing's permanent until it's done in ink. Whenever I get the chin situated and I like the way the shape is going, that's when I'm going to create the body. And really, it's kind of like an elongated teardrop without the point at the top, right? It just comes right underneath of the chin. You come down and create almost like this long jelly bean kind of shape. And then I'm going to make the legs. I just kind of round out the legs from the sides and then, of course, from up the middle. And just like our legs, it's going to be thicker at the top and getting more narrow. These don't have to be that long, and it's really up to you just how thick or how thin you want it to be. Making chibis is really great because you have a lot of wiggle room and everything is kind of exaggerated, and obviously the shorter the fatter the cuter, am I right? So then I just create a little hump to indicate a shoe, right? It's like half of an oval and then flat on the bottom, and I will mirror this on both sides, right? And again, play around with your shapes, see what works best. You can copy exactly what I do, but feel free to have some creative liberty. Please do. Legs can be kind of tricky, especially if you're trying to have a pose where maybe one leg is set back further, one is set forward, but I'm trying to make it where it's as simple as possible, both legs standing in the same position. Once we have our legs kind of figured out, then we're going to be putting out some arms. And much like the legs, where they start off wider and then they taper and get more narrow, I want to do that on both sides. They're just outstretched like this. Pretty simple. We're not going to go too extreme with elbows and muscles and things like that, right? Just really simple shape. So there we have a head, we have some arms stretched out, and we have legs and feet. We are going to be needing some hands. You can, of course, add fingers or keep them kind of in a mitten shape, right? Just thumb and fingers together, right? And that's what I'm going to go for here, just to keep things easy for you to be able to copy. We just create a little bit of a curve, like almost like a parentheses with a little hook in it, and then go on the other side and create that mitten shape. Maybe you can look at Winnie the Pooh for reference, or Piglet. They have that mitten shape hand as well. And again, we're going to be mirroring this on the other side. Unless, of course, you want to have a hook-handed Count Dracula baby. That would be really cool, if a little dark, but 'tis the season. Am I right? Now this would be our basic chibi form. Head, arms, legs, body, all of that. It's up to you how you want to customize this. So I'm just going to carry on, show you how I'm making this baby Dracula, but this is a really great structure for doing anything, any character, any person that you want. In a different episode, I'm going to be showing you how I can make my chibis look like other people, or how I can make other people look like chibis. But for now, we're focusing on the ears. I like to give my little Dracula some pointed ears. I think that just works. And then I'm going in for his nose, giving him a little bit of a candy corn shaped nose. I don't know, just something about a little tweaked up nose just seemed really, really cute. And then the mouth, again, all of this is customizable. I wanted him to be happy, but I also wanted him to be a little sinister, which is done by the eyebrow shape. Huge role of importance eyebrows plays. But make sure you get the mouth figured out first, And I actually did something different where I put the fangs on the bottom row of the mouth rather than the top. Just something a little different. I thought it also looked a little bit more baby-like as well. Eyes are super fun. There's really no wrong way with whatever shape you want to do. I kind of did a little bit of a half oval here as well and just cut off kind of like the shoes a little bit. You'll notice that there's similarities there. And just I made sure I put the lines under the eyes to indicate the roundness of cheeks. Again, making sure it has that baby fat, right? Cutesy vibe. And then, like I said, the eyebrows play a huge, huge role here. So the way I make it look sinister is that we're having it angled, but we don't want them to be angry, right? So if you want to be angry, you just straight up and down, like at an angle. But adding that little bit of a curve to this forward angle here is what helps make him look a little ornery, a little sinister, right? But with that happy little smile, makes him look cute. The thing about Chibis is that there's so many different ways to customize these characters, especially if they're not really based on anyone in particular. Yes, this character is fashioned after Count Dracula, but I'm able to customize it because it's not an exact Dracula per se. As you can see here with the difference in the hair. Now, Dracula is known for having this widow's peak, which I discovered what that was a couple of years ago when somebody was like,
hey, you don't have a widow's peak.
and I'm like, what's a widow's peak? And apparently if you have hair that grows into a point, it's known as a widow's peak. Why? I don't know. That sounds really dark. Let's not go there. I don't even need to know. But anyway, I decided with the Count's widow's peak, in order to make him look a little more playful, I added a little bit of a dent, a little cut, a little extra hair piece over there to the widow's peak in and of itself, made him look a little more playful, a little bit more boyish. And then I did add sideburns, which is so funny because in fact babies don't really have sideburns, but somehow it still works. I wanted to give him kind of like this Eddie Munster vibe anyway, and maybe that's who inspired this. Eddie Munster's mom, Lily, is a vampire and his grandfather's the Count, but Eddie's a werewolf, so maybe that's what really just kind of inspired this picture. And then I just do his hair, and again, you can just kind of play around with it. Yeah, I know it's a little bit lopsided. That's again where the eraser comes to play, but just kind of have fun with it, mix and match. Now, as far as clothes, look, let's get real. Come closer. I'm not the best when it comes to clothes. I am by no means a designer. This is for sure and for certain. But that's again where the eraser comes to play and where practice is really important and having a reference as well. Now, I didn't really have a reference for this picture for everything, so I just kind of winged it, winged it. But overall, it came out okay, even though it was the figment of my imagination, right? So with the collar, I eventually will change that later on and add some more curves to it, but don't take it too seriously. Think about the basics of clothing, just like the basics of our clothes, arms, torso, legs. Just kind of follow the shapes that you already have. So you can see here, I just added a little bit of a curve, and I wanted him to be able to hold his cape out, and that, when I thought about it, I kind of had to imagine what would it look like if I was holding that out. So you are a good reference there. And that the folds of the clothing would be over top of the fingertips. So that's what I did here. We are erasing the mitten hands. We are, but it's okay. We know that they're there and they kind of help us for later on. But then I just created the shape of the cape. I kind of had a moment there. Now, when it comes to the folds of clothing, how realistic you want it to be, look, like I said, it's not my forte. I am still learning just like you guys. So it's always good to have some fabric kind of hanging around somewhere, or even just, kind of bunch up your shirt, your clothing from time to time and be like, what do they look like? And just always reminding yourself that wrinkles are imperfect. We just accept the way that they look. Right? Like, we don't look at a wrinkle and be like,
that doesn't look like a wrinkle. It's not like the wrinkle that was on my Aunt Thelma.
You know what I'm saying? And for his chest there, I just gave him a little bit of a vest. All I did was follow the shape of his body, add a little length to the torso, made those little peaks there and put some buttons on it, real Professor Snape kind of vibe. And then for his pants, I wanted to kind of go old school, right? Outdated period clothing, right? So I gave him these really thick cuffs, and then I made sure there was a pleat in there. And then, like I said before, I changed the shape of the collar. Thought it would be nicer if they also had a point, just kind of consistent with the cape as well. And once you get the general shape of everything, that's when you go over with your eraser and with your brush and just kind of erase and fluff until you get what it is that you like. You can see here that I changed the shape of the ears. I enhanced the shapes of the collar, the hands. I amplified this. I took away from that. That's just really what it is. You gesture drawing your shape, getting the gist of it out there, and then enhancing it, taking away, adjusting as needed until you get the proper picture. And there we have our little Count Dracula baby. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And if you enjoyed this little chibi character and you'd like to have a go at it, I am offering coloring pages of some of my chibis over on Patreon for the lowest tier members. So we'll be having all the exclusive content for coloring my chibis, having lots of fun with that. Also be on the lookout for exclusive videos of my reaction to different movies while I create art pieces just for those movies in and of itself. Exclusive content nowhere else to be seen on the internet. I am going to be watching for the first time the movie Not the old people. Please, not the old people.
What kind of a cop is this?
A hoodie with me that includes really floppy. Oh, she's breathing hard already. You're gonna take your leg out.
This is great dialogue. How are you gonna find the doll? Bought it from a peddler. Stop the vehicle. We all want a good guy to go with the tools, am I right?